Hello students, I hope you all are doing well. So continuing the series of language skills, today I move on to discuss on the topic that is writing skill. Students, as we all know that language acquisition is a developmental process. It begins with birth and continues throughout the school and beyond. The child comes to school with considerable oral form of language, and this is acquired not in any formal learning or teaching situation but in the day-to-day social context of the home and immediate surroundings. Therefore, language is also a central factor in the expansion of the child's conceptual framework and body of knowledge. A large part of the child's language experiences is oral, but writing has an equal contribution. The ability to write clearly and expressively provides him or her with a skill that can greatly enhance personal, social, and vocational experiences. The child's writing experience in school can therefore be greatly enhanced to his or her cognitive, emotional, and imaginative development. Language learning is an integrated process. It is difficult to separate the functions of oral language, reading, and writing. In the process of acquiring language skills and in developing the ability to use the language, the child's personality and potentials are also cultivated. Writing is like speaking, which can be used to express one's feelings, emotions, and imaginations. The difference is that in the latter, which means while speaking the expression is oral, whereas in the formal, or we can say in writing skill, it is in written form. Writing does not represent a new language but is simply a new representation of the spoken language, and it's very useful for the purpose of record. In the words of Bacon, reading makes a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man, which means that perfection in expression comes with writing. So teachers at school level should lay special emphasis on writing to make their students perfect. If you want to teach the art of writing or to make learners proficient writers, we need to deconstruct and decode the processes of writing to understand abilities, knowledge, and skills required as practiced by the successful and good writers to produce a successful composition. So in order to master the art of writing, students need concentration, they need instructions, they need practice and patience. The teacher's mandate is to assist the students to gain control over written words, and students should develop an explicit knowledge of phases of writing process and to write frequently on a variety of topics for a variety of purposes and audiences, and to develop an understanding of the structures and conventions of the language. As we learned that writing is not only a linguistic to be acquired for its own sake, but it is also an important aid in fixing the language material already learned. Neat and legible writing is very important. Students must be taught how to write clearly, uniformly, and quickly. So good writing requires the use of various skills like content organizations and styles. For creative writing, students need to focus on these points. What are these points? Range of writing forms, types of sentences, structures, word choice according to the topics, appropriate language usage, spellings, and use of punctuations and capitalization. Now let us see all these points one by one. So the first one is different ranges of the writing forms. It is the basis of all writing. Firstly, students must understand the range of writing forms. While writing, if instructions are clear, ideas can be organized in a systematic way. For instance, while writing prose forms, the basic unit is the paragraph, but students should learn the basic elements of the paragraphs. Now, what are these? These are that all the sentences should be arranged in the chronological and logical order. Organization of the sentences should be according to the purpose, and all the sentences should have meaningful relationship with each other. For example, an essay is a prose form, which is usually begins with introductory paragraphs stating the topic. A body of one or more paragraph provides the supporting ideas, and the last is the concluding paragraph that sums up the evidence presented in the body of the essay. Now the second point is sentence structure. There are different ways of organizing words into sentences. Experienced writers understand the basic part of a sentence can be combined and arranged in the countless ways. Discussing the sentence structures with students can make students aware of the various sentence patterns of English language, and it enriches the vocabulary for talking about elements of language and helps students use word pattern to make meaning as they read. So there are different types of sentence patterns which can be followed by the students, such as subject verb pattern, subject verb object pattern, subject verb adjective pattern, subject verb adverb pattern, subject verb noun pattern, and so on. So writing requires an understanding of certain sentence conventions. It demands that students should consolidate their ideas through coordination and state their ideas as clearly as possible in an appropriate order. So, teachers should use student samples to explain and clarify problems related to sentence patterns. Now, the third point is word choice. So, basically, writing is a series of choice. As you work on paper, you choose the topic and you choose the approach and the source. When you start writing, you have to choose the words to express your ideas clearly and of course effectively. Sometimes the problem is not choosing the right word to express an idea, it's being wordy. For example, in academic writing, students should learn to recognize cliché and try to avoid them because they require several words where just one would do. These are some following examples. Instead of saying last but not least, we can say last. Instead of saying due to the fact that, we can say because. And again, instead of saying agree to disagree, we can say disagree, and so on. There are many more examples. So here are some strategies for successful word choice during writing. What are these? Like thesaurus should be used carefully, and each word listed at a synonym has its own connotations or shades of meaning. And simple words should be used to communicate the information clearly. Now the fourth point is language usage. So language uses is an important aspect of grammar, which refers to a person form of expressions. Choices of words and structures in both speaking and writing. Some points should be kept in mind while using the language. Students should be sensitive to the situation, so that the teacher should give students various situations to explore. Say for example, suppose your friend has stolen something in a class and complaint has been made to the principal. Now, and you know very well about this incident. Now write that incident in your own words. So 3 different audiences are interested in your short written account of the incident: your teachers, your friends, and school management. So write an explanation for each interested party by using appropriate language. Students should understand the range of appropriateness and found in the language, as language differ according to the writer and the purpose. Students should learn standard usage of language, and they should understand that even standard English allows a variety of acceptable speech. Now the next point is spelling correction. Correct spelling is like correct grammar. And it is very important because the way in which an idea is expressed adds to or subtracts from its status. For example, if I say I like my school, may express my feelings towards studies, but the wrong spelling of any word of the sentence makes it pathetic or ridiculous. If spelling is too bad, a message may become incomprehensible or even misleading. The teacher should therefore make concerted efforts to install in each students the desire to spell correctly in all subject matter areas. For correct spelling, students need to be aware of the following opinions for checking a word visually, asking a good speller, using dictionary, spell check programs on computer, and so on. Students can become effective spellers by checking their own writing carefully, reading extensively, keeping a list of their own demands and preparing a list. Nothing sounds like there and look alike then and then, but learning them within appropriate context. Now the next point is the punctuation and capitalization. So, punctuation is the system of symbols that are used to separate sentence and parts of sentences to make their meaning clear. Each symbol is called punctuation mark. And the purpose of punctuation is to help the reader understand the meaning of the writer. For instance, look at these three sentences. Rohan is there now. Rohan is there now. Rohan is there now. All the above three sentences convert different meaning, so the variation in punctuation may result in differences in meaning, lack of meaning, or different emphasis. Students need to know the basic function of punctuation marks and their use in their writing. Now the last point is capitalization. It is the writing of a word with its first letter as in uppercase and the remaining letters in the lowercase. A new sentence or a title or any name, a day or any month, a place, holiday, season, direction, or any school's name, subject, oral language should begin with the capital letter. So students can learn to punctuate and capitalize by preparing a chart of punctuation and capitalization rules, learning the use of punctuation marks and capitalization and editing and proofreading of their own and their peers' composition. So eventually we can conclude that writing is a complex and productive tool. But we need to train ourselves since it involves not just a graphic representation of speech, but the development and presentation of thoughts in a structured way. Writing is a powerful instrument of thinking because it provides students with the way of gaining control over their thoughts. Writing shapes their perceptions of themselves and the world. And in order to become empowered in writing, students need concentration, instructions, practice, and of course patience. Thank you very much for watching this video. We will come up soon with another interesting video. Till then, bye, take care, stay tuned.